We just talked about rooting out biases hidden in reward systems that can hurt your diversity efforts and prevent you from getting the most out of each person on your team. Now let's move from systemic to individual biases and talk about how we can remove these roadblocks as well. Believe it or not, personal biases can be just as hard to notice, even if you have every intention of treating each of your team members fairly. I myself had to work on this as a professor. Let me give you an example. In one of the smaller seminars I teach, I often have half new students and half former students. The entire class is discussion driven, so much like a team meeting, our success depends on each student feeling comfortable speaking up. As a professor, I'm like the student's team leader, and it's important that they feel I value each of their perspectives. And when I first started teaching the course, I knew that having former students in the room created the potential for bias on my part, and I wanted to make sure I didn't favor them. So in class discussion, I made sure to spread the floor and call on each person equally. I thought I had done a good job of being fair, so I was surprised to find that when I got student evaluations at the end of the semester, one of the new students expressed concern that I was favoring the ones I already knew. It came as a surprise because I thought I was going out of my way to be even-handed. When I looked into the comments, though, I realized that I had been mainly thinking about the formal space of classroom discussion, but had been totally blind to my own actions during the informal periods during and after class. So for example, during breaks and at the end of our 3-hour sessions, I would spend a lot more time casually chatting with old students. That gave some of the new undergrads the impression that I didn't value their contributions in the same way, and I wasn't even aware of it. This is a common problem on teams where even if we work hard to be equally supportive of everyone, we end up favoring people like us. That makes it harder for others to advance, it leads them to become disengaged, and that hurts the whole team. So how can you combat individual bias? Wanting to treat everyone fairly is important, but as we've seen, it's just not enough. Outside observers are good at noticing our blind spots, so you might ask someone else on your team, or even better, someone who is not on your team, to observe you and give you feedback. Do you tend to favor some people's perspectives over others? Or are you more supportive in your evaluations of certain team members? Asking an impartial colleague to sit in on your meetings or read your performance reviews and give feedback to you, that can be really invaluable. In my own case, I had my teaching assistant grade students separately, and then when we compared notes, I checked my own perception against hers. I also started paying attention to my own behavior in the moments outside of formal class time. I made sure I had casual conversations with each student, not just the ones I already knew. On your own team, start noticing how you treat team members during those casual moments around the water cooler or when you stop by their workspace. Your own actions in these spaces send as strong a signal to your teammates about who and what you value as your actions in formal meetings and work processes. Lastly, keep the channels of communication open with your team members. In Course 2, we talked about the value of having regular one-on-one check-ins. These more private conversations can make others feel comfortable speaking candidly about how you or others interact with team members and whether there's any unintentional bias at play. So again, to uncover and mitigate hidden individual biases on your team, you should 1. Bring in outside perspectives, 2. Pay attention to informal interactions, and 3. Make sure you're listening to team members' concerns. Taking these steps will help you ensure you're creating an inclusive atmosphere and getting the most out of your diverse group of colleagues.